Hey, what's up guys? Horcrux here again. I'm making this video to amend my last Magicka Warden build. I've spent quite a lot of time experimenting with the different sets. I've experimented with Necropotence, War Maiden, Lich, Seducer, and what happened was that none of those were the best option for the Warden. Actually, the best option that I've found and successfully tested with the Warden is my Sorcerer setup. Let's go with their stats real fast. Okay, so this is with CP, obviously. Okay, so fully buffed. Last comment. You remember the last video is a little under 20k. Right now, he's hitting for 21,319k. Now, let me show you what that is fully buffed. Weapon proc, Mage's Guild, so 22656 is what the meteor is going to hit for. Now, you may say, okay, well, you're sacrificing some recovery. Well, that's not even the case, and let me show you why. So, we're getting, 5p Shackle Breaker. Gives you the max stam, it's a hybrid build essentially. And then they have Amber Plasm, which is essentially a hybrid set as well, but it's more skewed toward Magicka. One Kina, just for the, also kind of like a hybrid. Currently I am running Witch Mothers. You can push the damage higher with just the tri-stats. Granted, my health is kind of low. It's kind of a dangerous place to be with your health pool being that low, but again, I don't have any Undaunted, so I mean these are, completely raw stats. Back bar resistances look like this: 26k insane, 22k physical. You see the magic recovery is 2106, and then if you pop a pot, so your stats are sitting around 2400, and then stamina recovery is almost 13. Max spell damage when you get that fully buff, that's you saw on the tooltip just a second ago, it was 3100. So this build hits extremely hard compared to the last one, and I haven't run into any sustained issues. You could switch the Atro out with maybe the Thief. I've been using the Shadow mostly, but I found that in Battlegrounds your crits pretty much it's just kind of low anyway, so you're not really critting that often to get the full benefit of the Shadow Mundus. So just right now I'm just tossing on the Atro because I like to be able to spam abilities. I don't want to sit back and heavy resto. I just don't like that playstyle at all. I did amend my champion points as well. If you're interested in using this in duels, now this build in duels is absolutely absurd, and point being is the Fetcher Infection. Now, right now I'm running Interloud on my front bar just because I don't like using the Fetcher Infection skill in BGs because it's either going to get purged or there's going to be so much healing going on. That dot's not going to matter. So in BGs I toss on Interloud just for a little bit more burst. But in duels, Fetcher Infection is crazy. I mean, that's 23.2, and then with the weapon proc, right, it's at 24. So take 50% of that, which is like 12.5, add to it, so that's at 36, 37 k dot over 10 seconds now, compared to the last video, which it was just, I don't know, what was it, 33, something like that k. So that's a considerable increase. That's over 10% more damage. A few other things. I mean, I'll just go over the skills again real quick. I'm using Bird of Prey. I'm trying to keep this up. Not necessarily all the time. This does give you the stamina recovery and major evasion. I mean, excuse me, major expedition. So you can just kite around the map pretty easily. And like I said, for BGs, use Interlight in place of Fetcher Infection. Force Pulse. The reason you want Force Pulse or Crushing Shock is also a good alternative, is when you go in for your burst, sometimes they will be at a bee's dick health, and your only spammable ability at that point that all your skills have a delay. Is Cliff Racer, so that's like a 1.5 second delay. So sometimes you need that extra little bit of damage to get the kills. So that's why Forceful is slotted in addition to the the destruction passive, which gives you the extra 8% damage. You can slot Ellie Drain here if you're having sustain issues. I'm not, however. Just be sure you're popping, just trash mag pots regularly, and you're going to be just fine with this build. You don't need any stamina sustain. Even with Witch Mothers, the only downside of Witch Mothers is it doesn't give you a big stamina pool. And I mean, as you can see right now, with Shackle Breaker, I have stamina pool pretty much troll K. Yeah, that's without Undaunted, and then fully buffed up. My recovery is at 1254, so you don't really have to worry about stamina that much at all, even though you have a low pool. It regens so fast, it doesn't matter. I'm keeping my crit resistance at 1256. I find that any bubble build, using double wards, I feel that is just the perfect amount of crit resist. Kind of any more, you're kind of gimping yourself on damage, and any less, you're a little bit squishy. So I mean, it's preference. Back bar, I thought I was going to roll with Light's Champion on the back bar. This build is extremely tanky. Light's Champion, yes, is a really alternative for solo play. But I found that if I use Light's Champion often, I never seem to have... I can never get to my Northern Storm ult, for your really big burst. It just seems like I'm just constantly healing myself or my teammates with Light's Champion. So, I mean, it's preference. Really, this is really good though. Did change the back bar up a little bit. I'm using Leeching Vines instead of the Lotus. Point being, I don't need the crit anymore because I'm running, in place of Infecture, I'm running Inner Light. So I have the crit. I don't need that anymore. And this actually procs one of your passives, which I kind of overread until recently. Nature's Gift. When healing an ally with a green balance ability, gain 250 magic or stamina. Restores your lowest resource pool. Leeching Vines procs off your shield. So if you ever lose some health, you pop this, it's going to heal you passively. And the whole time it's healing you, you're proccing the passive, which is 2500 because it's... The Leeching Vines is healing you pretty much 2k for every 10 seconds. That's 2500. So essentially, this ability is free to cast, assuming your Magicka pool is your lowest. Absolutely free, and it's a 20k heal over 10 seconds. And it gives you, inflicts everyone with lifesteal, so that's good too. I'm running Ice Fortress still yet. You're so tanky. Just absolutely just a monstrous tank with this. You can take frags, you can take incaps, like spiritual bows, and it not even bring you down to half health. Like fully critted, buffed. It's insane how much resistances you have as a warden. Always run Blue Betty. I don't see this ever changing. I'm using Harness instead of Dampen. I found out that Dampen's just not that much greater in the respect of how much it absorbs. I'm running right now. I'm running 511 just because I'm trying to get my medium and heavy passives leveled up. But the magic return from this is it's too good. I've tried running Dampen. You can definitely run this with Dampen, but I just don't think it's worth it. With this class, you don't need to play it like a Sork. How, like, if they hit your health bar, you're dead mad. You can actually take a lot of hits to your health. And so you don't really necessarily have to keep this up at all time. You have a lot of passive healing from your, where's it at? One of these, I think it's Animal Companion. Yeah, so when one of your Animal Companions is killed or unsummoned, you restore 1260 health. Okay, so this is true for all of your abilities, pretty much. So Blue Blaze free to cast. Every time you cast this, you're healing yourself. Okay. Every time you cast Bird of Prey, you're healing yourself. Carry on Cliff Racer, you're healing. Diffuser, you're healing. So your ongoing hots are just insane in general. So you can take a few hits and be more aggressive, not having to always have a ward up. And if shit does hit the fan, if you have Northern Storm, pop this shit. That stacks with your Ice Fortress, so you're mitigating 38% of your incoming damage. And this applies to shields as well, since it's a passive resistance. So if you pop a harness, you know, your harness is going to take 30% less damage. So keep that in mind. The rest of the skill is Healing Ward, you know, just typical. This is kind of annoying because I may try a Sword and Ward build out soon, because every time I try to pop a Healing Ward, it goes to someone else. It does not fail. But yeah, I'm definitely be rolling with this build. I hate to just copy and paste it from my sorcerer, but I mean, just by the character sheet alone, I mean, it is just too good. I mean, this isn't even vampire. This isn't even a high elf. Okay, I'm a Breton. Oh, well, I thought I showed the thing here. Oh, there we go. See, I'm a Breton. And, you know, if he was a vampire, that would be 20% higher, right? So it's like another 400 recovery on top of the 2400. So you could damn near hit 3k in magic recovery, and also you're gonna have more stamina recovery if he's a vampire. I may try that out as well, but I just feel that you'd be a little too squishy. So with stamina recovery, you'd be about, you know, 1400 or so stamina recovery. So let's get into the champion points. I did reinvest these a little bit. I did some number crunching. For the Warden, you do want to, one of my previous videos, I said never go past 51 in anything. That's not necessarily true for the Warden, and I'll explain that here in just a minute. Yeah, I do have 51 points into Warlord. You know, this is, you know, rake for your use cost. I mean, you're gonna be hit with this like every 5 seconds, so you need to have 51 points in there. Next tree, got 49 to Arcanus. For whatever reason, Zoss decided to round all the skills down. So if he was to invest more points in this, it doesn't reach 12%. It's just going to round it down anyway, so that's a loss of points. Got a little bit in the Mooncalf. It's not bad, a couple percent. Next tree, I got 51 in the Shadow Ward, 51 in Tumbling. The way I play Magicka build is really agile and mobile. I like to be able to be up in your face and, you know, be able to roll dodge. It kind of like a stam class. And when you're running Amber Plasm Shackle Breaker, you can get away with that shit. Like, you can do this, just you don't have to sit there and like, oh my god, I have to pop a pot for my stam. What am I gonna do? You don't have to worry about that ever. Next tree. Okay, so I do have 51 points into LE Expert, and again, I don't think this is optimal. I think you should have 49, but at the point of making this video, it's okay. Just as soon as you hit 11%, stop putting points in. I think I have 2 points extra here, so don't worry about that. Spell Erosion, I just have a little bit in this. I think 15 is really great because I'll go with the passive in a minute. This counteracts. Elfborn. Now, at 51 points, you get 19%. So by investing 13 more points, you get an extra 4% of critical strike damage. Do not go over this amount. After this amount, it is absolutely garbage, the returns you get. You'd have to invest a whole 28 points just to get another 2%, right? So do the math there. I do have 72 points in Master Arms. Previously I said 51. I mean, this kind of goes for Elfborn. After 72, do not invest one single point. You can see on the next, you know, skill level, you get 0.14%. Garbage. So go 72, stop there. You're gonna be hitting hard as fuck. Shattering Blows, I just took all my points out of it. Staff Expert, don't even really worry about with the Warden. All your damage is coming from essentially magic damage. So your weaves don't do shit. Shattering Blows, don't worry about it. You'll be bursting through their shields anyway. I don't have any in this tree. What I should have done, I may be able to take some points out of Spell Erosion and toss this in the Thaumaturge. If you're running the Fetcher Infection, I personally enjoy it. I like seeing the 3k ticks just consistently, you know, every second. That's you could probably get that up really high with this passive. I'll experiment a little bit around with it and I'll get back to you in the next video. 72 in Ironclad, and again, I said 51. I think 72 is a much more reasonable number to toss into this. Resistance, I'm just running essentially what a one piece would give you. 8 points would be the one piece, but this is just what I had left over, so I just tossed into resistant. I'm running 49, 49. For whatever reason, I'm still running the Unchained passive. I just can't get this out of my head. You just never know when you're gonna be able to, you know. I mean, you can slot shuffle on this build very easily, especially with Amber Plasm Shackle Breaker. I just choose not to, just for now. It'd get a little sketchy. You'd have to take off like one of your passive heals or Ice Fortress or something, and I just don't think it's worth it. Instead of putting points into Thick Skin, I'm not really getting by dots and BGs. It's mostly, you know, LE, physical damage, and then a lot of physical damage because all the Proctards out there right now until it gets nerfed. So I'm tossing 20 points and 22 points into this to give you another 2k physical resistance. That's pretty good actually. That's mitigating about 4% of in addition damage to your Hardy. It's pretty good in my opinion. I only have 11 points into Bastion. You don't really rely on shields all that much. I mean, I just put some points in there just for the value, but you really don't have to put any in here, to be honest. Well, that about does it for the champion tree. I think that actually about does it for the video, fellas. Let me know what you think, what I may have been wrong on. And again, I'm still testing this. Yeah, I'm still trying different things out. But this build, you know, in closing, is a super cheap alternative to what most Wardens are running. You know, War Maidens, you know, staffs 300k, Necropolitan staffs, you know, 300k. And you just do not need those sets. I cannot stress that enough. I was running War Maiden previous to this. That's what I've been running for like the past day now. And my meteors running War Maiden, I was running War Maiden, Lich, 2 Engine Guardian, and I also switched out the 2 Engine Guardian for 2 stat pieces. And with this build, it has a shit ton more sustain. It's more reliable than having to rely on an Engine Guardian proc, and it does more damage. On the build I just previously mentioned, the tooltip on the meteor was 20,800, and you can see here on the tooltip that it's 21.319k, and it just flat out hits harder. War Maiden, yeah, I'm sure it would be viable in some builds, maybe like a PvE build. You could probably run like a War Maiden Necropotence and just absolutely just fuck over everything. Like just insane damage with that class. But as far as BGs go, I mean, there's no better setup than this. I'm a theory crafter. I spent a lot of gold, a lot of time sitting just theory crafting. Even when at work, I'm like, okay, you know, how can I improve this? You know, what changes or alterations can I make? Belly nudges right in my face. But this is absolutely the best you can get. Pop a pot. I mean, whoops. I mean, there you go. Well, that about does it. And I'll catch you fellas in the next video. Peace.